This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening. I'm Sabrina Brown. Thank you for joining us. Topping the news tonight, immigration officers over in Abaco involved in an apparent sick-out today. The action is believed to be in protest of poor working conditions. It is understood that officers attached to the new government complex in Marsh Harbor have been working without air conditioning for the past 4 months, and recently conditions have reportedly become unbearable, and the officers decided to take action. SNS News has learned that the sick-out did have an impact on the processing of documents at the government complex, which is considered the immigration headquarters in Abaco. A top immigration official has confirmed that the action did not impact the airport and other ports of entry. The official told us that a contract was signed for repairs to the air conditioning system 2 weeks ago, but he is uncertain as to why the repairs have not been carried out. In other news, as the implementation date for VAT draws near and many Bahamians are still opposing the new tax system, a local business consultant is taking a different approach. Former executive with the Bahamas Agricultural and Industrial Corporation and business consultant H. Rudy Sawyer says as the government seeks to generate additional revenue, the implementation of some form of taxation was inevitable. Value-added tax will take effect on January 1st next year, and Sawyer's advice to residents is to be prepared.
I've taken a position since we know that is going to happen. I don't know if it's worth it to exert the extra energy to say, hey, let's change, let's not do it. Let's understand it a little bit better. Let's prepare for it coming.
The implementation of VAT will mean the lowering of customs duty rates, which Sawyer believes is a good system for businesses.
The biggest factor for them is that they had to come up with this big chunk of money early to pay the duty up front, and then they go and recover it from sales. Now for them to now have to come up with much less than they would have normally, I think it's a good advantage to the business community, particularly those merchants who bring in goods.
He says the new tax system calls for better management of finances and more careful thought into the choices we make.
People who are thinking about businesses, it may be good now to consider doing some joint ventures along with, and bringing resources together to try take advantage of things, etc., rather than having to expend everything else. Individually, let's do the backyard farming. Let's produce a little something. Let's go fishing a little bit more, get some food in, etc. Let's do a little bit more baking of ourselves. Let's cook at home, maybe a little bit more than going out.
Although the government appears to be standing firm on its January 1st date for the introduction of the highly controversial value-added tax, those in the local business community say there is not enough facts on this inevitable tax. Joan Davis-Roll has that story.
We may be in the height of the hurricane season, but a local business executive is forecasting that there's another type of storm brewing.
All I know is that January 1st, hurricane VAT's coming.
An executive of Bradford Marine, Mike Stafford, is calling for more facts about value-added tax, VAT.
There seems to be discrepancies in everything we're hearing and what the Hawkesbill Creek benefits give to us as licensees. And somehow we need to get to the bottom of this, or we need to delay VAT. We just delayed the gender equality referendum, which needed to happen because the information is not getting out there. And VAT's another thing. We have a serious problem that we don't know. We're not getting the information.
VAT is set to make its debut on January 1st, 2015. The new system of taxation is being discussed in many quarters, and not knowing enough about that, he says, is already affecting some sectors of Grand Bahama's business community.
Businesses are putting employment on hold, they're putting expansions on hold, we're going to be downsizing, and the economy is going to go into a shambles, in my opinion, because of the lack of information we're receiving.
Stafford says in the meantime, as a corporate entity, the search continues for more facts on that.
My business is trying to attend all the information meetings that the government's putting on, the Chamber of Commerce is putting on. I know Rotary's putting on some VAT information meetings. We're trying to read and all that. But there's bits and pieces of information coming from all places, and it's not always credible information. There's a lot of opinion. And we need actually regulations and facts. We need to see the act. We need to know what's happening.
Joan Davis-Roll, ZNS Network News.
A major transformation underway at the Hawkesbill Clinic. The health facility that serves thousands of residents in the Southern District is being overhauled to meet the needs of that growing community. Tonight, the contractor involved talks about the full scope of work and the progress to date. Shashina Roll reports.
The government is serious about improving healthcare facilities here on Grand Bahama. Currently, the remediation and renovation of the Hawksville Clinic is taking place, and very soon, nearly 4,000 residents of Hawksville and the neighboring communities will benefit from these vast improvements. Construction crews are busy working on the Hawksville Clinic. The cost of the renovations is said to be around $200,000.
We commenced work about 3.5 weeks ago, and we are very well on the way to completion. I would say we are approximately about 75% completed in terms of our scope of works.
The Hawksville Clinic was built in 1967 and once completed will be staffed by 3 doctors, 16 nursing staff and allied health professionals, and 6 clerical and administrative support staff. Edwards says he is pleased with their level of progress, but admits that a project like this one always has its fair share of challenges.
As you may know, this building is about 47 years old. So there were items that no longer meet the present code. So we had to make the necessary adjustments and changes to do that. But outside of that, we've had no major challenges that we were not able to handle.
The president of Pinnacle Investments says a vast scope of work has to be carried out.
We had to totally strip all the walls and all of the interior walls and replace those with dry walls, which we have to date completed. We had to do all the plastering. This building has now a new roof. Also, the whole electrical system in this building has been replaced. So the whole electrical system is brand new. All the tiling on the floor will be brand new. As you can see, we have hurricane impact windows. They are all now installed, and as I said, we are very much on the way.
Now, the clinic is closed during this construction phase, and the completion date is October 10th. Shashina Roll, ZNS Network News.
2 American citizens arrested in a drug bust over in Abaco. Police tell us that drug enforcement and other officers went to a residence in Hopetown around noon yesterday and executed a search warrant. They reportedly discovered a small amount of cocaine and marijuana, as well as a large sum of U.S. currency totaling $77,760. The Americans, a 46-year-old male and a 44-year-old female, were taken into custody. Investigations are continuing. Also from Abaco tonight, officers in that district took 4 people into custody for various offenses ranging from shop breaking, stealing, unlawfully carrying arms, and threats of death. 2 were remanded to the Sandlands Rehabilitation Center for drug treatment, and the others will be arraigned before the magistrate's court. Stay with us. There's more news after this.